Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Welcome to this morning's Srimad Bhagavatam class. It's a recording of a class given by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada in Mayapur in 1973. We ask that you increase the volume of your listening devices. Sometimes the volume of the recording or the recording level is kind of low. So without further ado, we'll start the class. Hare Krishna.
sat-saṅgān mukta-duḥsaṅgo, sat-saṅgān mukta-duḥsaṅgo, hātuṁ notsahate budhaḥ, kīrtyamānaṁ yaśo yasya, sakṛd ākarṇya rocanam, tasmin nyasta-dhiyaḥ pārthāḥ, saheran virahaṁ katham, darśana-sparśa-saṁlāpa, śayanāsana-bhojanaiḥ. Sanghat, by association of pure devotees. Mukta-duḥsaṅgo, freed from bad materialistic association. Hātuṁ, to give up. Notsahate, never attempts. Budhaḥ, one who has understood the Lord. Kīrtyamānaṁ, glorifying. Yaśo, fame. Yasya, whose. Sakṛd, once only. Ākarṇya, hearing only. Rocanam, pleasing. Tasmin, unto him. Nyasta-dhiyaḥ, one who has given up his mind unto him. Pārthāḥ, the sons of Pritha. Saheran, can tolerate. Virahaṁ, separation. Katham, how. Darśana, seen eye to eye. Sparśa, touching. Saṁlāpa, conversing. Śayana, sleeping. Asana, sitting. Bhojanaiḥ, dining together. Translation. The intelligent who have understood the Supreme Lord in association with pure devotees and have become freed from bad materialistic association can never avoid hearing the glories of the Lord, even though they have heard them only once. How then could the Pāṇḍavas tolerate his separation? For they had been intimately associated with his person, seeing him eye to eye, touching him, conversing with him, and sleeping, sitting, and dining with him.
sat-saṅgān mama bija samvida bhavanti ritkarna rasana katha tajjusanāt asu apavartvavartmani sadhya rati bhakti prasiddhati. Sat-saṅgān, sat-saṅgā, sat means devotees and asat means non-devotees. Even in moral instruction of Chanakya Pandit, he advises tajo durjana saṅsargam bhaja sadhu samāgamam. Chanakya Pandit advised, although he was a politician, great politician, still a learned Brahmin and knowing all moral instruction, he gives this advice. Tajo durjana saṅsargam. This is the crucial point of advancement in human life. Tajo durjana saṅsargam. Try to avoid, not try, must, you must avoid the association of the materialistic person. Materialistic person means those who are after money and woman, that's all. They are materialistic. Those persons simply hankering after money and woman, they are materialistic. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has advised to associate with these class of men hankering after money and woman. It is better, death is better, preferred, than to associate. When he was requested to see King Prataparudra, because he was king, he is supposed to be always in association with money and woman. He refused to see him. No, I cannot see the king. When he refused to see, he quoted one verse. Bhavasagaras, niskincanasya bhavasagaras, niskincanasya jigimisho bhavasagaras. People do not know what is bhavasagar. They do not know even. But in Vedic literature, this is the first instruction. How to get out of this bhavasindhu, bhavasagar, material ocean. The whole universe is also an ocean. And all these planets, they are called Deepa. Just like this planet is called Jammu Deepa, Bharatvarsh. Actually it is like Deepa. Nowadays, those who are flying in the sky, they are going from one island to another island, one planet to another planet. So, when there is called Deepa, there must be relative term, the ocean or the sea. So whole this universe, these planets, they are called Deepa. Therefore they are floating in the ocean of air. Just like you have got experience. You have got experience of this also. Ocean of water, and above water there is air, ocean of air. Then there is sky. So bhavasagaras. The whole universe is bhavasagar. Sagar means ocean or sea. And bhava means repetition of birth and death. Bhava. Bhutta bhutta praliyate in the Bhagavad Gita. Once we take birth, we remain here for some time, then we give up this body, we accept another body. Tatha dehantaram prapti dhirastatta namayati. We have to. So long we are in this material ocean, we have to accept these laws of nature, repetition of birth and death. And this is called bhavasagar. So, we are eternal. Nyasta-dhiyaḥ nahannate hannamane sarire. It requires little intelligence that I am eternal. Why I am in this business, accepting one body and again giving it up, and there is no guarantee what kind of body I am going to accept next. There is no guarantee. It will be according to your work. We can become an insect, or we can become the demigod, we can become tree, we can become animal, anything according to our karma. Karmana daivanetrena. So, this rascal civilization, they do not understand what is bhavasagar, what is bhava, nothing. They are so rascal. And they are passing on as civilizement. No knowledge. So, when one is intelligent, actually, then he considers that if I am eternal, why should I accept repetition of birth and death? That is intelligence. But they have given to birth and death, never mind. Even university students, they say, if next time if I become animal, what is wrong? Just see how much degraded. In Hawaii University, one student say that even if I become an animal, what is wrong there? Just see how much degraded the human society has become. They are prepared to become animal, cats and dogs, trees, anything. So, when one comes out of this gross ignorance, how to get out of this bhavasagara? Just like if you are thrown into the water of sea, you may be a very expert swimmer, but you don't like to remain there. You want to come out. Similarly, although we may be very expert in changing our body, but still, at the time of death, we don't like it. Nobody likes to die. But nobody thinks how to stop this death. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said, Nahannate hannamane sarire. By the destruction of this body, the soul is not dead, it is living. So this is called self-realization. One must be sober to think over that if I am eternal, if I do not die after the destruction of this body, and I do not like to die, how to stop it? This is intelligence. How to stop with repetition of birth and death. But the human civilization, the so-called human being has become so much degraded, they have no brain even to think over this matter, that how to stop this repetition, or if there is any means to stop this repetition of birth and death. They have no knowledge. Still they are going on as human beings. They are like animals. Even big professors in Europe, they say, Swamiji, after death, everything is finished. You see, tatha dehantaram prapti dhiras tatta namiyati. Even this plain word, the first instruction of Bhagavad Gita, they do not understand. Not only they, here also, so many politicians, so many rascals, they take Bhagavad Gita, but they do not understand. They are busy with politics, but the first instruction of Bhagavad Gita, na hannate hannamane sarire, dehi nasmin jatha dehi kaumara yauvanam jara, tatha dehantaram prapti. No political leaders teach the people that there is birth after death. Have you heard any politician? But take the Bhagavad Gita and stands with photograph. He is a very great reader of Bhagavad Gita. But one who understands Bhagavad Gita, and he is a rascal. If he understands Bhagavad Gita, why he is in politics? And even if he is politics, all these kings, Maharaj, Yudhishthira, Krishna, they are also in politics. But they know things that's there. That is the difference. Who can be greater politician than Krishna? He is giving this instruction. Dehi nasmin yatha dehi kaumara yauvanam jara tatha dehantaram prapti. So, the human life, if they do not know what is the process of living condition, how we are changing, how we are accepting birth and death, how to stop it, then what is the meaning of this human being? So, this knowledge can be attained by sat-saṅgān. Sat-saṅgān. Sat-saṅgān means, this is sat-saṅgān, associating with devotees of the Lord. So, sat-saṅgān, sat-saṅgāt mukta-duḥsaṅgo. You cannot make association with two parties. If you want to associate with the devotees, then you have to give up the association of the non-devotees. That will be natural. Just like these students, although they are very young, they are not only young, but coming of very luxurious families in America, Europe. Here the boys, they cannot even imagine how much luxury they enjoy. Here they have no employment, our young men, mostly unemployed. And in Europe, America, especially in America, there is no question of unemployment. Anyone can go and earn immediately $10. $10 means 100 rupees. He is prepared. One of my students, Radhish, he was mourning, he was absent. So I asked him, why you are absent? No, I required some money. So I went to get some money. How you got money? No, I went to the shoe brushing shop. So I brushed some gentleman's shoes. I got some money, $5. So they know how to earn money. There is no scarcity of money. Even in a hotel, one goes, he washes the dishes, immediately gets $10. So money and woman. So they are enough, they enjoy. But now they have given up everything. Why? Due to this sat-saṅgān. Due to this sat-saṅgān. Sat-saṅgāt mukta-duḥsaṅgo. No more. No more association with money and woman. This is so powerful, sat-saṅgā. Sat-saṅgā is so powerful. Sat-saṅgā means sataṁ prasaṅgāt mama bija samvida. When actually there is sat-saṅgā, not professional Bhagavad readers or Bhagavad readers. No, really, realized souls of Bhagavad, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, they are called sat. Not for earning livelihood. They are not sat. Those who are reading Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavad for some worldly material gain, they are not sat, they are asat. Those who are actually reading Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam for the satisfaction of Bhagavat, they are sat. So, once associating with these sat people, he cannot make any more association also. Here is a vivid example. Rishikesh, he left our company. He associated with some asat. Asat means non-devotees. Asat, generally you understand rogues and thieves. But those who are devotees, they are less than rogues and thieves. Those who are not devotees, they are less than rogues and thieves. So he could not associate. It was struggle. At last he had to leave. So sat-saṅgān mukta-duḥsaṅgo. Once who had associated sincerely with devotees, he cannot mix with non-devotees. This is the test. This is the test. Salpamapi yasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhaya. If once only, sakṛd, here it is said, kīrtyamānaṁ yasya sakṛd ākarṇya rocanam. If once sataṁ prasaṅgāt, sat-saṅgā is so powerful, if one submissively hears from sat-saṅgā about the name and fame of the Supreme Lord, immediately it becomes palatable. Sakṛd ākarṇya rocanam. The same thing is repeated in another place. Sataṁ prasaṅgāt mama bija samvida bhavanti ritkanna rasayana katha. If one hears from real devotee, immediately he becomes pregnant. Bija. Just like if one boy is bijaman, as soon as he has sex, the girl must be pregnant. Similarly, those who are bijavan, really devotee, by hearing him, one becomes pregnant. Pregnant means he becomes interested in Krishna consciousness. This is called sataṁ prasaṅgāt mama bija samvida bhavanti ritkarna rasayana katha. Rit, we like from the heart, we like from the ear, very nice to hear. Ritkarna rasayan, rasayan means pleasing. As soon as one will hear from sataṁ, then his ear and heart will be pleased. Oh, it is very nice. Ritkarna rasayana katha tajyosanat. And if he again cultivate, if he thinks over tajyosanat, asu means immediate. Apavarga vartmani, on the path of liberation. Sadhya bhakti anukramishyati. This is the process. Therefore, satsanga is required. Now we have opened such a big hall, inviting people to come to take part in this satsanga, and nobody is interested. So, therefore, if anyone becomes interested, he is very intelligent. He is intelligent because he wants to stop this repetition of birth and death. This is the problem. This problem, the so-called scientist, philosopher, educationist, and politician, they have set aside this question. The real problem is to solve the question of birth and death. They do not touch it. They are making plan for economic development and other things. Economic development, suppose you become rich man and for 20 years or 50 years at most at the present moment, then you become a cat and dog in next life, then what is your economic development? But they do not know that there is life after death. We have to prepare for the next life. Karmana daivanetrena. Then, according to my karma, by superior inspection, I will get next birth. And in the Bhagavad Gita, it is plainly spoken. Janma karma me dibbam je janati tattata. Krishna says, simply try to understand my janma. I take birth. Ajopi sanabhyatma. He is ajo. Every one of us ajo. Najayate namriyate. We don't take birth, we don't die. Because we are part and parcel of Krishna. So Krishna must be ajo. So Krishna takes birth, there is Janmashtami. So if anyone tries to understand why the ajo, the unborn, takes birth, janma karma, and God, Krishna, who has nothing to do, that is the Vedic information. Natasya karanancha vidyate. Why he has to do? Actually, he hasn't got to do anything. He has to enjoy only. Just like we see the deity Krishna, he is not working in the factory as a factory manager. He is enjoying the company of Radharani. We have to work. If we enjoy with our so-called Radharani, then we will starve to death. We have to work. But God is not like that. Natasya karyam karanancha vidyate. Natasya sama adhikascha drishyate. These are the information from Vedas, Upanishad. That he has nothing to do. Yes, that is real God. If God has to work, God has to do something, then what kind of God he is? Here, the so-called imitation God, even a rich man, he does not do anything. And why God will work? Therefore, God comes, he is ajo, unborn, he comes, janma, karma, he works also. Just like Krishna, he worked ordinary cow herdsman. He worked as ordinary politician. He worked as ordinary philosopher, left the instruction of Bhagavad Gita and so many other instructions, sublime instruction. So, one has to understand why the unborn takes birth. One who hasn't got to do anything, why he comes as a human being and works. Janma karma me dibbam. These are all transcendental subject matter. These are not ordinary things. Krishna's coming, Krishna's working, Krishna's fighting, Krishna's loving, They're all transcendental subject matter, aprakita. So, janma karma me divyam jo janati tattvat. If anyone simply understands this subject matter, why Krishna takes birth, why Krishna works as ordinary man, these are our transcendental subject matter, then he becomes free. Takta-dhiyaḥ punarjanma naiti. Simply by understanding Krishna, about his work, about his birth, simply we can understand. The Bhagavad Gita is there. You can read and try to understand Bhagavad Gita as it is. The result will be takta-dhiyaḥ punarjanma naiti. Then after giving up this body, he never takes birth in this material world. Punarjanma. Punarjanma means within this material world. In the spiritual world there is no janma, there is no death. Punarjanma naiti. Then where he is finished, no, mameti. He comes to me, back to home, back to God. This is perfection. So anyone who is interested in this highest perfection of life, punarjanma naiti mameti, not to take birth again in this material world, but to go back home, back to Godhead. Such person, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu speaks for such person, niskincanasya jigimiso bhavasagaras. Parang parang jigimiso bhavasagaras. Parang param jigimiso. Just like we are on this side of the sea, we want to go the other side of the sea. Similarly, this Bhavasamudra, we are on this part of the sea, material world. If we want to go to the other side, the spiritual world, so we have to become niskinchan. Niskinchan means no more possessing anything material. That is called niskinchan. If we hanker after possessing material, therefore sannyas. Sannyas means simply possess Krishna, no other possession. That is niskinchan. You have to possess something. Suppose you have got something, one copper coin or silver coin. So if you dispossess, if you throw it away, then what is the gain? Whatever you had gone. But if you throw the copper coin or the silver coin and if you accept a gold coin, then you are profit. Then it is profit. So, niskinchan, to simply become niskinchan, renounced of everything, just like Mayavadi, sannyasi, they do Brahma Sattva Jagan Mithya. Yes, but Brahma Sattva, they do not understand what is the actual Sattva Vastu. That Sattva Vastu is Bhagavan. They do not search after Bhagavan. Simply the light effulgence of Bhagavan, Brahma Jyoti, they are satisfied. What is that? Trouble. Stop them. So there are so many versions about sat-saṅgān and asat-saṅgān. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advises, niskincanasya parang parang jigimiso bhavasagarasya darśanam athujositam. They're fighting. What? Darśana-sparśa-saṁlāpa visayanāṁ athujositāṁ. So, niskincan means do not hanker after any more money and woman. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu refused to see persons who are after money and woman, because by their association we may be infected. We may be again hankering after. Suppose I have taken sannyas, and if I see one grihastha having a very faithful and beautiful wife, if I think, oh, I left my wife, if I would have possessed, I would have been happy. He is immediately fallen, because within the mind he is associating with Joshit. Suppose we go to see some rich man, I see that he has got money, nice motor car, nice building. If I think, oh, I have taken sannyas, if I would have possessed all these things, I would have been, then immediately fall down. Therefore Chaitanya Mahaprabhu strictly prohibits that if you have become niskinchan, renounced order, with the idea of going forward, bhavasagaras, on the other side of the bhavasagaras, then aspiring after money and woman is lower than dying, committing suicide. Ha-hanta, vishabhakshanāta. If you take poison, that is criminal. Similarly, he says, a man in renounced order of life, if he is thinking of woman and money, then he is committing suicide more than ordinary suicide. Vishabhakshanāta asadhu. Vishabhakshan, if you drink poison, then you are criminal. If you survive, by law you will be punished. Perhaps you know it. Anyone attempting to commit suicide, if he survives, by law he will be punished. Why you attempted suicide? This is criminal. Similarly, to aspire after woman and money by the renounced order paper is lower than committing suicide. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's verse. So actually, who has associated with sadhu, he cannot make any more association with asadhu. Therefore it is said that sat-saṅgān mukta-duḥsaṅgo. Mukta-duḥsaṅgo. Mukta means completely liberated. Such person hātuṁ notsahate budhaḥ. Such person cannot give up the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. Kīrtyamānaṁ. He may try to go away, but he will not be happy. He will not be happy. We have seen practically some of our boys who have left, they come occasionally. Even he protests externally, internally he understands that he has committed a mistake by associating. Kīrtyamānaṁ. Kīrtyamānaṁ yaśo, yasya, sakṛd, ākarṇya, rocanam. The Sankirtan, chanting of this holy name is so pleasing that one cannot avoid it if once he has associated with devotees. This is the position. Therefore, for the Pāṇḍavas, of course, the holy name of the Lord and the Lord, they are identical, there is no difference. But still, we are chanting the holy name of the Lord, and if the Lord comes personally, how much we shall be glad. So, we are chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna's name, but the Pāṇḍavas, they are practically associating with Krishna. So, if a person associating with devotees becomes interested in chanting the holy name of the Lord, how much it is impossible for the Pāṇḍavas to give up his association, because they are so fortunate that darśana-sparśa-saṁlāpa śayanāsana-bhojanaiḥ. They are in so intimately friendly terms with Krishna that they are lying together, they are sitting together, they are eating together, always seeing Krishna, how they can tolerate his separation? It is impossible. If a if a devotee cannot give up this chanting of his holy name, how the person who are actually seeing Krishna, associating with Krishna, can tolerate separation from him? This is the purpose. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Also very, very, very important, nice, very informative lecture by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada himself. There's so many points that he brought up, especially the association of devotees, the effect of it, and the chanting of the holy name. Dear devotees, this is the time to unmute yourself. If you want to share some of the things that you picked up, that's your takeaways, or connect some of the things that you heard from Srila Prabhupada to other aspects or lectures that he has given to come up with something more, wholesome and beneficial for everybody. Or if you have questions to ask, please unmute yourself. Hare Krishna. I know Vishnugadar Prabhu joined later on. I'm not sure whether he's still on. And if you, oh yeah, he is. Well, if it's up to you, I'm not pushing, but if you would like to make some comments, that would be very nice to start us off. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Parikshit Prabhu.
Except on the
Thank you.
basis is question about.
Yes. I was just thinking that this is, since these points that Srila Prabhupada makes, he referred to a couple of devotees, Sri Adish and Rishikesh Prabhus. Since it's true, he's making the point that once you associate with devotees and have that sat-saṅgān, it's very difficult to give it up. I remember when Giriraj Maharaj, his father, tried to allure him with a large amount of money if he left Krishna consciousness, and he refused. And Prabhupada's comment was, "You're too seriously infected. You'll never be able to get free from that." So so then one takeaway might be, well, it would be a project to contact those people, those devotees who have once been associated. Maybe they'll come back. You follow?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Or make some plan or some festival or something like that, and specifically invite them or something like that. I don't know. I was just thinking along those lines.
Yeah, but thank you very much. That's a nice point. As you were talking, I know few family members of mine that I've heard that they've gone to they've left the temple. I know how it started, but still, Krishna is Krishna. And even if they had good material reasons, and they were material reasons, that they were uncomfortable, that did not mean that they should leave Krishna consciousness altogether, but they have, and we're going to try to get them. It's suggested there's a function coming up. I'm definitely going to beg them literally to attend, so they can start again, jumpstart, or rejoin the movement, as my Guru
There's no loss or
likes to say.
diminution. No loss or diminution in the past.
Yeah.
If at some point we can create an environment so that people may feel comfortable again or come back, that's wonderful. I know in 1972, Srila Prabhupada wrote a letter to Rupanuga Prabhu, who was the temple president in New York at the time, 1972. And he said at that time, "We have enough devotees. No need to make new devotees. Just we should concentrate on improving, making more further progress. If you make milk and you take milk and you water it down, then it becomes useless. But if you boil the milk, then it becomes very sweet." So anyway, that was back in 1972. And it's not that Prabhupada wasn't saying we shouldn't try to make new devotees, but at the same time, focus on improving our own and focusing on improving that. aspect of
Hmm.
our own Krishna consciousness at that time. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Wonderful point. Yeah. Come in. Devotees that are already in should also. It very much has to do with the way we relate to them also. And more Krishna Katha rather than Ramya Katha or this gossip, especially when we're associating, having prasadam together. Talk more about Krishna, excite each other about Krishna. Then we'll think of Krishna more and therefore we'll stay with Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Any other comments? Please unmute yourself.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances, August Srila Prabhupada.
Srila Prabhupada.
When I think it's Pradumya Prabhu that was reading the verse, but when Prabhu was reading the verse before Prabhupada spoke about how the Pāṇḍavas who have been so used to Krishna's association, and now they won't have much of it. How are they surviving, lack of a better word? And the way he read that, the way he read the way he was reciting. I mean, reading it. It made me realize, like somehow, like wow, here we are. We asked to come down because we were envious of the Lord, and how much are we really missing the Lord's association? And then I started thinking about, wow, here am I going through so many challenges and this and that, whether it be material or spiritual or physical or mental or whatever it is. But how much am I using that opportunity and using that situation as an opportunity for me to ask the Lord, to take shelter of the Lord, And I was just thinking how, that is pretty deep because, we get so caught up in our daily activities, so caught up in everything that we do that we forget how much we really depend on the Lord and we need his shelter. There's just no getting away from it. And then when Srila Prabhupada was defining the word satsang, sangha, and he says that means devotees. And then I started thinking again, and I said, wow, how much do we really look forward to having devotee association? How much do we look forward to sacrificing or giving up or inconveniencing ourselves just for devotee association? So I was just really thinking, and then when Vishwagata Prabhu shared about His Holiness Giriraj Swami, when his parents tried to lure him and said that he was really, that the good Lord took over his life, as they say. And I was thinking, whoa, do we have that same hankering for devotee association? Do we have, what will it take for us to sacrifice and inconvenience and come out of our comfort zone and our attachments and whatever the shackles are, tying us down for devotee association? So, and summertime is always a busy time, and it's summer school vacation, kids are traveling, but at the same time we have so many, we are getting association from spiritual masters, visiting sannyasis and so forth. And I was thinking, how much are we looking forward to that association? Like it should be like an excitement as opposed to work. So these thoughts were really going through my mind, more like a self introspection of how we view how important I think sadhu sangha is, how important devotee association is for us, and how much it is, how much does it take up our lives versus how much the material responsibilities take up our lives. So these are just thoughts that were going through my mind that I thought I would share. Hare Krishna. If you're trying to speak, Prikshit, you are on mute.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you very much. So I was just saying thank you for the sharing and also mentioning about self-introspection. Very, very, very important that we all do that, especially self-introspection about our spiritual life, how it's going. And I wanted to add that Lord Chaitanya has said one cannot stay at one level in spiritual life. You are either growing or we're going down. There is no plateau to just sit and say, well, I'm at this point and I'm satisfied. If you do that immediately, then Maya will plan different things to make you think that it's okay when in fact we're going down. So we always should be improving, always should be improving. And self-introspection helps us to come up with a way. If you want to do that, just by this making that decision to look back at our lives, how it's going, Krishna would immediately, by the super soul, give us the intelligence to see where we are weak, where we need to improve. Those things will come up right in the mind because Krishna wants us to go home. And to go home is to be a better devotee. And to be a better devotee is to see how things are at the level that we're at and how to go forward. So yeah, so introspection is extremely important. Extremely important. Some people do it daily, some people do it weekly. And of course, at the end of the year, you can do a whole, okay, what was the year like? Going to the following year, what do we need to improve? We should never be the same. We should always be improving, not going backwards, improving, learning, and of course, chanting and trying to chant more purely, more clearly, more focused, like that. Hare Krishna. Any other points, questions? Okay, I'll just share some of the things that I also put down when Srila Prabhupada was giving the lecture. It's a very, very important lecture. Then again, everything is important. He talked about sat and asat. Sat and asat. Sat, he referred to devotees, and asat as non-devotees. We should avoid materialistic things. We should avoid materialistic persons. Those, and then he defined it as those who are hankering after money and women. Even to the point of saying that because it ruins our spiritual life, it's better to die than be in such an association of people who are after money and women, sense gratification. And he gave an example of Lord Chaitanya refusing to see King Prataparudra because he was dealing with materialistic situations, materialistic persons as a king. This place that we're in, Bhava Sagara, material ocean, as long as we have in this place, we have to accept repeated birth and death. Then we can become a tree or a dog or some other animal or fish according to our karma. Then he started talking about the fact that people don't understand Bhava Sagara, this material ocean having to take birth in a cycle, birth and death. The intelligent person should wonder that if I am eternal, then why should I accept different bodies? Nobody likes to die, but nobody thinks about how to come out of this situation, stopping birth and death. Still, they're going on as human beings. And Srila Prabhupada says they're acting like animals. They're so going through different stages, baby, then slightly grown up to an old person, and then, of course, the Tadihantara Prapti, the body giving up, not functioning anymore, and then the soul having to take another body. This cycle is going on. Knowledge can be attained by association of devotees, sat-saṅgān. But to associate with devotees, you can't do both. You have to give up the association of non-devotees. So those who are reading Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada warned, those who are doing it for money are not devotees. They are asat. Devotees are the ones that read Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam for the satisfaction of Krishna. And then once one has associated with devotees, it becomes difficult to associate with non-devotees. You never feel comfortable in the presence of non-devotees, wants to associate with devotees. And one hears from a real devotee, the person becomes very interested in Krishna consciousness. That is pregnant with Krishna consciousness, you use that word. And then the ear and the heart to be very pleased. To anyone who becomes interested in Krishna Katha, then he's intelligent. But these scientists and philosophers and education, they don't know how to solve the problem of birth and death. Then he talked about Krishna being Aja. He has no birth. We do not understand. We also do not take birth and do not die. That is at the spiritual level. So we are also Aja. So, of course, the difference between us and God is God has nothing to do. We have to work. But when Krishna does some things, he does because he wants to, out of his own sweet will, his birth and activities. Janma karma tame divyam. They are all transcendental. And one who understands Krishna like that his activities and his birth, even though he's Aja, they are transcendental, then he becomes free. And at the end of that person's life, he goes to Krishna. So to go through, then he talked about sannyas, the last point is about moving from material to spiritual. We have to be niskinchana, no more possession of anything material. You replace the lower with the higher. And you give an example of a copper coin. You throw it away, there's no gain. Just like the sannyas, the Mayavadis do. But if you throw it away and replace it with a gold coin, then you'll profit it. Meaning taking Krishna consciousness as the gold coin and materialism as the other coin, throw that away. So we should not associate with women and money. Material things. Sannyasis should avoid material things, not even contemplate those kind of things, because if you do that, as a sannyasi, it's worse than suicide. One tries to go to the material energy, you'll come back. You can't fit into material life so easily if it's a devotee and tries to go back to material energy. That's why Vishnuganatha Bhumi is a very important point, that we should try to make it easier for them to come back. Sometimes they wish to come back, but they're embarrassed because they've left and they don't know what people will think. But if another devotee reaches out to such a person who has temporarily left the movement and encourage them to come back, like a particular function is happening, like Ratiyatra or some other function similar to that, and they attend that, so many people are there, and then be welcomed nicely, and they can continue. So the association is important. Just like the Pāṇḍavas, they were always in Krishna's association. They were thinking about Krishna. You could never give up this association. It's impossible. And this is what we're supposed to be about. By the mercy of the Lord, we have the deity, so we can associate, and then we have devotees, so we can associate with them all the time. Hare Krishna. Any other final points or comments? If not, then we thank all of you for coming on, and we're in the midweek, so the rest of the week, have a wonderful, wonderful Krishna conscious week. Vanchakalpatarubhasya kripasindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. And Nupur Mataji, Hare Krishna. I saw you left the text on there. Hare Krishna to you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Glories to Srila Prabhupada.